First of all, it's a Friday, right? Now, if you dress up all week and you decide to dress up on Friday, ain't nothing wrong with that. But when you dress up, when you dress down, you don't dress up on Friday. You dress up during the week and dress down on Friday. So Marcus Spears, he's got to be the contrarian. He's got to do everything opposite and all of this other stuff. The blazer is slamming though. I must admit, I can't front.
Okay.
The blazer is slamming. I am impressed. I don't know if I'd have rocked the blue with it. You know what I'm saying? The blue with a white shirt. You know what I'm saying? I might have done something a little different. But the blazer is slamming. That must have been the wife. That must have been the wife. Couldn't have been you. Couldn't have been you.
Absolutely. 100%.
All right.
100%.
We good. Notice how nice I am. Notice how nice I am to Mrs. Spears. Notice I'm smart about that, Molly. She attacked me in South Beach, Molly. I gotta mind my manners. She jumped on me, Molly. She jumped all over me.
Yep.
I got to be nice to Miss
That's
Spears.
a ride or die.
That's right. Let's go.
Right?
Right around the corner, too. She's
back.
right around the corner in case I got to get her.
Hi.
Marcus, you just tell everybody you do you, right? You don't got to follow everyone else's rules.
That's it.
All right, Stephen A.
That's it.
We heard from Mike McCarthy. I just want to mention again, in case people forgot, they brought in Dan Quinn as defensive coordinator. Obviously, he did a stellar job in Seattle when he was the defensive coordinator with the Legion of Boom. Wasn't the best as a head coach, though. Do you have a problem with McCarthy's comments?
Yes, I do. I do have a problem with it. And even though I like to troll Cowboy fans, I'm being very, very serious here. When it comes to Mike McCarthy, who I respect. He's a Super Bowl champion, and he's had some success. He's went to about 3 conference championship games, won a Super Bowl championship. We understand that the man knows a thing or two about football, and I'm not here to question, his acumen about football, but I do have a license to question results, all right? And when I look at Mike McCarthy, here's my problem, Marcus and Max. You inherited a team that was top 11 defensively. They were top 9 in yards allowed. When you had Rod Marinelli, all right, and Chris Richard as basically your defensive coaches. That's what you inherited. You got rid of them to bring in a guy in Mike Nolan last year who was the 31st ranked, who was the defensive coordinator of the 31st ranked team in football defensively in the Atlanta Falcons in 2014. He was so bad that he went 6 years without being able to get a damn job. You got fired in Green Bay primarily because you were accused of being archaic, holding on to the old school ways, holding on to old school people, the personnel, the relationships you had cultivated throughout the years, et cetera, et cetera. You took a year off. You had an epiphany. Things are new now. I'm revived and I've changed. I've modified my way of thinking. And you bring in some dude from 2014, and you're going to sit up there and tell us that, we tried to do too much defensively? What the hell did you try to do anything for? Last time I checked, you kept Kellen Moore. He was a rookie the year before, but you kept him. But somehow, some way, Rod Marinelli got to go. Chris Richard got to go. So you could bring in one of your good old boys. He was ineffective, inefficient, didn't get the job done, compromised the success of the team to some degree. And here you are, now that you bring in Quinn. I mean, I'm just saying that I have a problem with it because own up to that. It wasn't that they tried to make too many different things. You hired the wrong man. You shouldn't have hired him to begin with. What you do it for? What you do it for? Because you knew him? Because you were comfortable with him. As opposed to a brother like Chris Richard, who was working with Rod Marinelli, who had done the job, and you pushed him out the door. That's what I don't like.
Marcus, do you want to go?
No, go ahead, Max. I want to hear what you got to say, brother.
Well, I would say this. What did I say when Mike McCarthy was hired originally? It's an underwhelming kind of hire and they tried to package it with, as Stephen A. pointed out, that Mike McCarthy has learned his lesson. The league passed him by because he didn't pay enough attention to analytics. Aha! But now he knows analytics and he's going to do it. No, that's not what it was about. What Jerry Jones is looking for is a name brand that has some gravitas, that has some credibility as a coach, because he has a resume, who's not going to push back, who's not going to get the credit if they win to take the spotlight off of Jerry. It's Jerry's ego. That's all this is. So you heard him say Stephen and Jerry and I thought. Stephen Jones, by the way, it's unlikely how good Stephen Jones has been. And I don't think he's great, but I think he's like average, maybe even a tick above average NFL GM. He's the boss. He's the owner's kid. Like, what are the odds that through nepotism you get the job and then you turn out to not be incompetent? I actually, no jokes, I'm not trying to like give him an underhanded compliment. I think the odds are pretty long. He's done a pretty good job. But that's all. They're average. That's why the Cowboys are average. Because Jerry bought the team. It's a shiny new toy to play with. And he's been playing with that toy ever since instead of getting serious about winning championships. So Jimmy Johnson getting too much credit, too big an ego, he's gone. Not even in the Ring of Honor, guys.
That's a disgrace.
Jimmy Johnson.
That's a disgrace.
And they only won one more Super Bowl since then. It was with Jimmy Johnson's team. He brought in Barry Switzer. It was Jimmy Johnson's team. And then Bill Parcells. That ain't going to last very long because Bill Parcells, big personality, big ego, will get credit and success, right? You bring in Mike McCarthy. No one was banging down Mike McCarthy's door. He blew it with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. He was out of job. But Jerry knew he could grab him, package him, put him up front. At least it's not Jason Garrett, right, who Jerry handpicked as a younger guy. Hey, this is my guy, which is why he stayed with him too long. At least it's a guy he thought people could get behind. But I saw through it. We saw through it. Let's be honest. That's what this is about. Mediocre results from an average coach hired by Jerry so Jerry could be the star of the show still.
Man, I love when we together, and I have no disagreement with what either one of you are saying. Because if you guys remember, we were on First Take when this news broke. When the hire of Mike McCarthy happened, we were in studio and we all were like, this is an interesting one. And I said, I'm going to reserve judgment because you remember all of the specials, to your point, Max, about Mike McCarthy and him getting into the analytics game and waking up in the morning and preparing like he was a professional NFL head coach. They did a whole story on it. And he was supposed to go with the new trends of the league. And then he hires Mike Nolan. And I sat on television all year last year, as bad as the Dallas Cowboys defense was, and I went in on them as well. Because people forget that because I argue with Stephen A. about the Cowboys, they don't think I'm critical of the Cowboys. I'm as critical of the Cowboys probably than anybody in the league when it comes to their incompetence in certain situations and what they do to make moves. Mike Nolan was never a fit to be the defensive coordinator. His scheme was never a fit. I talked to guys that said we were not here and this defense was not built to our skill set. We saw it all year last year, y'all. Like, and me being a former player, and any player you talk to or have on any show will tell you schemes matter. Schemes make you a better defense. That doesn't mean you have all pro players and pro bowlers. That doesn't mean you have guys that ascend to these high heights and they just overcome bad calls and bad defense. These guys were in no man's land every single Sunday. Had no idea what they were doing, trying to figure it out on the fly. And Mike McCarthy alluded to that. But I love the point that Stephen A. made. This was his boy. He wanted to hire his boy as the defense coordinator. Look at the NFL in totality. Look at what the teams are doing that are winning. Look at John Lynch and Shanahan in San Francisco. Look what McVay has done in Los Angeles. Look what Veach and Andy Reid have done in Kansas City. And the Dallas Cowboys stand pat and they go sign Mike McCarthy as the head coach. And then they try to sell to Cowboy fans that this is the right move. All you got to do is look around, read the room, understand what's going on in the NFL. DeMarcus Lawrence didn't all of a sudden become a guy that couldn't play football. He was out of position the entire year, guys. So look, all of this talk about we tried to do too much. Whose job is it to recognize that in week 3 when you getting drubbed, as opposed to coming into a press conference after the season, after you've hired Dan
making
Quinn
excuses
to tell everybody we tried to do too much?
Question, Marcus. Given everything you just said, does Dallas have a chance to make a huge rebound on the defensive side of the ball? Because when you looked at the names on defense, especially that linebacking core, which was a weakness, you were like, but that should be a strength. So do they have a chance to be way, way better on defense?
Absolutely, Max. Absolutely. From a scheme, look, We about to enter the draft right now. Teams are drafting guys that fit what they do. They fit what they do.